Hi everyone! We have a bonus video! Woo! Alright, so I got tagged by Rachel of the Faded Wildflower Crochet, where she created this crochet creator tag, and it's so fun. Okay, I'm not sure how old y'all are, but if you remember MySpace back in the MySpace days, there would be these like reposts from people, and it would be like a bunch of questions and you would answer it. Then you could tag people to also answer these questions, and you could just do it. I would just do it. I never got tagged, but there were just like random questions like Coke or Pepsi, you know, silly things like that. I think they have them on Facebook too, where you just can kind of like copy it and then fill out your own answers, and I don't really know the purpose, but it's just fun. I think the purpose is just fun. Anyways, Rachel created something kind of similar for YouTube and crochet specifically. I guess this is also a big thing on the book YouTube, and so she decided to create one for crochet, and I think it's such a fun idea. So thank you so much, Rachel, for tagging me, and I have the questions here, so I'll just go through them and answer them. It's basically what it is. Kind of like a Q&A, but they're like predefined questions. I'm going to be working on the Sweet Summer Tea by Rachel Misner, and I'm just using some DK cotton. Anyways, I just figured I'd be working on something while I talk about crochet. What better thing to do than crochet while talking about crochet? Without further ado. So question one is, how did you learn how to crochet? So when I was, I don't even remember, 7, 8, I don't know, my mom used to be really into crochet, and she used to crochet us these beautiful ponchos and purses and scarves and all sorts of stuff. And she tried to teach me, and I remember I would make scarves. I think that's all I really did was scarves at that time. It was fun. To be honest, at that time, I think the thing I enjoyed the most was picking out the yarn, which honestly, has anything really changed? I don't really know. I dabbled in crochet at a young age. Maybe you can relate to that. But yeah, my mom taught me initially. That's kind of where I first learned about crochet. I remember in 2020, I bought a crochet kit from Amazon. I wanted to try it again, but I never really got very far with that. I was also in grad school at the time, so I think that I was just maybe a little bit too distracted. And then when I finished grad school, I realized I didn't really have any hobbies. I think I had just spent so much of my time and energy in school for so long that I didn't really have any hobbies, and I felt a little lost at that time in my life because I wasn't in school anymore, and now what do I do, you know? At my first job outside of grad school, I worked with this one person, and she did a lot of amigurumi. And she was showing me some of her pieces, and I was like, wow, you made that? That is so cool. I didn't even know amigurumi was like a thing at that time. I thought crochet was literally just like scarves and ponchos and hats and, you know, like the basic stuff. I didn't really know much about it. She kind of like sparked my interest in crochet again. I was like, that is really cool. I want to try that. And so I'm pretty sure later that night I just went home and Googled crochet or went on Pinterest or TikTok. I don't even remember, but I saw a whole new world of crochet. I remember seeing the eye sweater, and I was like, that's so cool. I cannot believe that someone made that. But yeah, I just saw a whole new world of everything that you could make with crochet, and it was just an eye-opening experience for me. The next day, I brought my partner to the craft store, and I picked out some variegated purple and green and blue acrylic yarn and got a 5mm crochet hook. I followed the Lily Crop Top by Passionate Kelsey on YouTube, and I made a lily top. Unfortunately, I don't have that piece anymore, and I'm so sad that I didn't keep it. I ended up donating it to Goodwill, I think, because I mean, I used acrylic yarn. It was like a little bit ill-fitting for me, but I remember being so proud of that piece. And at the time, like, we went out to a restaurant and I brought it with me and I was working on it, and a lady at the table next to us was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to see young people doing that, and that kind of sparked something in me, and I haven't stopped crocheting since. So definitely been a really awesome experience, and I have a hobby now. I have, you know, a couple hobbies now out of it, because I feel like when your identity is school, like you are a student and it consumes a lot of your time. I wonder if other students can relate. When I got out of school, I just didn't have, I don't want to say purpose because that's kind of dramatic, but I felt kind of bored, you know? So crochet and now knitting, they have really kind of just sparked that excitement in me again. The excitement to learn and to grow and work towards something. So that was a really long answer to how I learned to crochet. Oh yeah, how I learned to crochet was just through YouTube. Thanks to all the people who make the amazing tutorials for beginners, because I had a basic idea of it from my mom teaching me, but that was so long ago, so YouTube really helped me out. Oh, and that one lady at the local yarn store, I went in there and I was like, I want to make a sweater, and she was like, do you have a pattern? And I was like, what's that? And she was like, have you heard of Ravelry? And I was like, what's that? And she would not sell me yarn, because this was like a bougie, you know, local yarn store. They had some really nice yarns, and she would not sell me yarn. She's like, come back with a pattern. Come back with an idea of what you want to make, because I just went in there and I was like, I think I want to make a sweater. And she was like, bruh, you need more than that, honey. So I really appreciated that, because she could have just sold me some really expensive yarn. I was willing and ready to buy some expensive yarn, and she would not let me. So I actually appreciated that. At the time I was like, meh. But looking back, I was like, no, that was definitely for the best. So, okay, the next question is, what is your favorite thing to crochet? And this is really hard because I love to crochet a variety of things. You may know that if you have spent some time on this channel. I like to dabble in wearables. I like to dabble in tapestry. I dabble in amigurumi. So that's a really hard question for me, because I want to say anything I'm crocheting at the time is my favorite thing to crochet. But, so I've been doing my tapestry squares a week, and those have been really fun for me, but I did recently film a video that kind of is focused around tapestry crochet that'll be coming out later this week, I think, hopefully. And that has just really sparked my love for tapestry crochet again. And so honestly, probably tapestry crochet. That's probably my favorite thing. But like I said, I am happy to crochet anything. So whatever I'm crocheting at the time, but if I have to pick, tapestry crochet. Okay, the next question is, if you could only use one yarn for the rest of your life, what yarn would it be? I feel like this one's not that hard for me. I think I would say cotton yarn, actually. And this is coming from someone who I haven't really worked with that many different yarn types, so it's kind of take this with a grain of salt, and if I change my mind in the future, I'm allowed to do that, okay? But I mean, you're asking me right now, and right now I would say cotton yarn. I think cotton yarn is very versatile. I think when it's blended with other yarns too, it's really good, but I guess I didn't say cotton blends, I said cotton. I do love me a cotton acrylic blend though, those are really nice. If I have to pick a specific cotton yarn, probably the Fiber Natura by Universal Yarns. It's the Radiant Cotton. I've only had that one hank of it, but I love working with that yarn. This is also cotton yarn, the one I'm using right now, and it's working out pretty nicely. I also don't hate like Lily Sugar and Cream even, like the cotton yarns that most people are like iffy about. I prefer those to, honestly, even some wool. I have this wool yarn that I actually despise using because it gets so tangled, and I don't really love it. So yeah, cotton yarn, probably. What is the weirdest thing you've ever made? Oh, this. This is probably the weirdest thing I've ever made. This is the Cursed Furby Face. This is a pattern by Sunny G Stitches. Yeah, this is definitely the weirdest thing I've ever made. I made this as a request for my sister, who's also probably one of the weirdest people I've ever met, so kind of checks out. I have yet to give it to her, but next time I see her, I will definitely be giving this to her, but I still have it right now, so I can show you. This is the weirdest thing I've ever made, I think. Maybe if I thought about it a little bit more, I could think of something weirder, but this would definitely be in the top 1 or 2, so here you go. I'll link the pattern down below if you want a Cursed Furby Face. Okay, the next question is, what is something you'll never crochet? Never say never, but I really don't see myself ever crocheting a bikini set. First of all, I got too much going on that I just don't think crochet would be enough. I don't think it would cut it. I would never make one for a friend either unless they were there constantly to try it on, because you would have to get the fit so incredibly right. One little slippage and everything's just out. So yeah, I think that I would probably never make a bikini set. It's just not practical. It would be maybe cute for like a photo shoot moment, but not for me. Definitely not for me. And like I said, the only way I would ever make one for somebody else is if they were there to constantly be trying it on, which is kind of unrealistic. So a bikini set is something I will most likely never make. Okay, next question is, where do you get your inspiration? Such a great question, and one that I think there are so many answers to for me. A lot of my inspiration I get from, in general, just things I like. So for tapestry, for example, like I make tapestries of animals I like, and I love color, so anything with a lot of color I really enjoy. Definitely other creators I follow. I follow some incredible creators. I think this is just maybe like a social media thing in general, but you ever just like go online and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many talented people in this world. What's the point of even creating art when like this art is so incredible? Like, how could you top it? That's like every day for me on Instagram, but it's kind of a silly way of thinking because there's room in this world for any and all art. In my opinion, art isn't something that there should be competition for. It's something that people should create because it's what their souls need, and if other people perceive their art and enjoy it, then that's great, but art's kind of made for the artist and not the viewer, if that makes sense. Anyways, that was kind of a tangent. So yeah, I get my inspiration just from like things I enjoy. So for me, that's a lot of nature and colors and animals, other art. I don't really know. That's kind of a tricky question, and honestly I don't feel like I'm like the most creative person in the world, so I follow a lot of patterns. So like, I don't know, most of my ideas I get just from other things I see, and then my mind's always constantly just like, you know, there's a lot, it's just kind of always going, and so I don't really know like how my thoughts lead to other thoughts sometimes, but I know that they're usually stemming from something I'm seeing, something I'm consuming, something I'm experiencing. I don't know. Wow, what a vague answer to this question, but it's a really hard question to answer. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I don't really know if I even said anything of substance. I just be blabbing. Okay, favorite thing you've made so far this year? Definitely Miss Maple. I love her. Thank you so much, Jada, for creating such an amazing pattern. This little cutie brought me so much joy this year already. Like, just making her all those cute little outfits and everything. I have just been having a ball. So, Miss Maple. I will link that pattern and any pattern I talk about in this video at all in the description down below if you want to make your own cozy goblin. Crochet plans you're excited about for the future. Honestly, I have so many plans in my head, and I'm excited for all of them. Specifically, the thing I'm currently making, which I'm not going to talk about too much, I am so excited for. You'll see. I don't know how long this video is going to take me to make, but I am very excited about this right now. It's hard for me to like think about other things right now besides what I'm making. Again, these are hard questions for me. I don't know why. I'm excited too. There's a lot of tapestries I want to make coming up, so I'm really excited about those. I have some patterns I want to make, so I'm excited about those. I just need to like do them. That's the hard part because I'm excited about so many things. I don't know like when I'll be able to get to everything, you know? There's only so much time in a day. Definitely want to do more roll for scrap. I am excited about those. Sorry if you're expecting more from these answers. I am kind of just reading them for the first time, so these are my raw answers. Okay, next question is worst thing about crochet. Probably when you need a specific dye lot and then you can't find a skein in that dye lot, and so you have to use two different dye lots. I think that can be really frustrating. I would say too, like a really tangled yarn, or like yarn that is constantly getting tangled on itself. That wool yarn I was talking about earlier, one of the reasons I don't like it so much is because it tangles so much, and that can be really frustrating when you're kind of like in a flow with crochet and then your yarn's just constantly getting tangled. You can't really like get into the flow, you know? So probably that as well. Assembling. I don't really like assembling. I like crocheting the pieces, and I don't mind sewing. It's not that I don't mind sewing, it's just the final step of assembling everything, for some reason I always get stuck at. And I don't know if I would say it's the worst thing, because once I'm doing it I don't mind it, but for some reason I crochet the pieces and then something in my head's like, you're done. And it's hard for me to like get back into, no, you actually have to finish this now. It just sits there for a second. Oh, AI, but that's not really a thing with crochet, but like AI patterns and people stealing patterns and all that stuff, hate that. I wouldn't say that's crochet specific, but like it is something that is becoming more prevalent, unfortunately, in our community, and you gotta watch out for that stuff. There's so many scammers on like Etsy and things nowadays, and that is such a bummer. It really makes me upset, but I'm trying to think. I don't really think there's too many bad things about crochet. Those are my answers for that. Rachel also kind of said in her video, what's the worst thing about creating content for crochet. For me, it's basically YouTube videos because I don't really create too much more content than that. I don't like making short form content. I don't really like it. Sometimes it's fun, but anyways, I'm blabbing. So the worst thing for me, I guess, would be the short form content and this push for short form content. I like short form content, don't get me wrong, but I am a long form content girly. I don't like having to, because I want to crochet, you know? That would be the worst part, I guess, about creating crochet content is the short form or the push for short form, but honestly, I just chose not to do it. I don't like it, so why would I do it, kind of. That's my thought process on it, at least. So, but yeah, other than that, I love creating content. It's really fun for me. Maybe for me, the worst part is like having a deadline for Thursdays, but it's also kind of the best part for me because it holds me accountable and I work really well when I have a deadline. So if I didn't tell myself I had a video every Thursday, I would probably push it off a lot. So I think creating that schedule for myself was kind of necessary, but at the same time, it does sometimes cause for some frantic Wednesdays. So yeah. And then the next question is favorite thing about crochet, and oh my gosh, I know I kind of touched on this, but just like having a hobby and something that you can continuously grow with and work on and create things, and I don't know, it's just such a beautiful craft, and the community that I've developed with it has been just incredible, and it's life-changing in the sense that I feel like I have like an identity. It's really hard to put into words, honestly. Like, I feel like I have passion for something outside of school and outside of like work. Yeah, it's just been like a really beautiful thing to learn and develop, and I've gotten to meet a lot of really amazing people. It's also just so cool to like see things just develop in front of your eyes. Like, this is just one long continuous string that I'm just like looping around itself, and it's making a fabric. Sometimes I'll just be crocheting and I'm like, this is just one long string. Whoa, you know? Lots of things to love about crochet is my short answer, but I could go on and on about the things I love about crochet and just like what crochet has done for me as far as like my identity and my, I don't want to say self-worth, but there was like a point in time I remember crying to my partner because he has so many fun hobbies and I was like, I don't have anything. He was like, well, you're in school, and I'm like, I know, but is that it, you know? So crochet has really just been an amazing outlet for me, and I'm really grateful for it. It makes me really want to take care of my wrists and my body so that I can do it forever. It also is like something that really calms my mind. I kind of mentioned that my mind is pretty continuously going, and when I'm crocheting I can kind of like ease that. It just is kind of like a way to relax. I love crochet. It's just been really great for me. Spinning off that, similar to the last question, what's your favorite thing about creating crochet content? And once again, going back to the community, like all of my friends, and like I've just met so many cool people with this craft, and I think sharing it online has been so huge for me too, because I've been moving so much. Like within the last 4 or 5 years, we've moved so many times, and it's been really hard to like meet people when you're moving constantly. So I think sharing my crochet journey online has been huge because it's been more of a constant connection, if that makes sense. And I just love like the journaling side of it, kind of. I kind of use my vlogs as like a crochet diary almost. Obviously I want it to be entertaining for people who would choose to watch it, but it is kind of just like a way for me to keep track of the things I've done within this craft. But yeah, that is all the questions that I have. I would love to hear your answers to these questions. I will leave them in the description so that you can fill them out and we can pretend like we're on MySpace again. I'm gonna tag some creators in the description too who I know make YouTube videos, who I think would have fun doing this little crochet creator tag. But even if you don't make YouTube videos, I want to hear your answers too. Please feel free to answer any or all of them, or one or none, in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much again, Rachel, for tagging me. This was a lot of fun, and honestly, I got way more introspective than I was planning on. I almost cried a couple times. Not to be dramatic. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want, you can follow me on my other socials. It's at Viney_Maple, which is the same way it's spelled here. I will see you over there, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!